Hey whales, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's August the 13th. Let's go over the top stocks to buy for today. And as always, I love to sort of separate the different patterns that I love to trade and go into. The first one is the inverse head and shoulders pattern. These are essentially stocks at the lows trying to accumulate. You have also the bull flags, right? These are basically patterns that are continuation within an uptrend. So we like to buy the dips on uptrends, on consolidation type patterns. We love to buy pullbacks as well. So stocks that are pulling back into key levels, into key support, we'll take a look at as well. And then finally, the earnings beats setups, guys. So these setups are essentially for companies that have beat their earnings, and we want to monitor them to see if they can keep growing EPS and see if there's some undervalued names here. All right, now with that said, let's jump in. So the first one, of course, is Alaska Air Group. So ticker symbol ALK. So for Alaska, you guys can see we're accumulating right at the lows here. Okay, moving averages, acting as support, making higher lows as well. Like I've mentioned in the past videos, guys, Alaska Airlines actually went up 20% since we called this out initially. You guys can see we're starting to make an ascending triangle formation, higher lows, equal highs. Remember, when there's equal highs, what happens, guys? There's typically, you can think of a sort of a battering ram, right? We're trying to push through this door and trying to break through it. And with higher lows, that's bigger momentum starting to put into place. So look for airline companies, look for Alaska Air to continue battering the ram and then ultimately try to break out. And we're starting to do that slowly within the pre-market session. So over the next couple weeks, let's see if Alaska can keep pushing higher. The next name that I like is CVS. So you can see for CVS, we did have this large downtrend, guys, for the last few years. So major downtrend. However, you can see on the 3-day time frame and on the daily and the weekly, we're starting to make a bottoming formation, guys. Starting to make a bottoming formation with a potential flag starting to form. Inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. CVS could be the next ones to start turning this around. It might take a few months, right? This won't be automatic or very quick, but if you wanted a high-paying dividend company with better earnings recently and starting to reverse from the lows, keep a lookout for CVS. I think the worst is over as well. Next one is DE, guys, Deere & Company. So you guys can see Deere & Company has been accumulating for the last few months here within this very tight range, within sort of what looks like a possible bull flag as well. So earnings is coming up for Thursday. That could be the catalyst here. We're looking nice on the moving averages. Let's take a look on a daily, right? Yeah, so daily, nice moving averages here. Alongside the 200 moving average on the daily, that could also be a second position buy. If earnings for whatever does do something funky and goes down, it'll sort of look like this. Okay, so you'll have that sort of great entry on an amazing industrial name that you can keep buying for the future. And yeah, I mean, all-time highs, and the sky's the limit on Deere & Company. It's a great company. Next one is Coca-Cola, guys. Coca-Cola is a great defensive name with any volatility coming up with seasonality coming in September. You guys can see Coca-Cola did react off the very key levels between the 6.5 and the 7.86. And you guys can also see that we have a nice wedge formation starting to form. Okay, so this is starting to look pretty interesting if, Coca-Cola can sort of push up. We're looking at 76 to 79 in the future. All right, next name is MasterCard. So we've been mentioning about MasterCard for quite some time as well, guys. It's been coiling, making higher lows as well. You guys can see, right, starting to coil a little bit. And like I've mentioned in the past videos, what does this pattern remind you of? This was Walmart back when we called it at the lows here. Walmart starting to accumulate and actually pushed out and started to break out. So very same fractal here, looking to see if MasterCard can do the same. So starting to look pretty interesting for me for MasterCard. All right, another very interesting name is Oscar Health, guys. Oscar Health is it is a little bit more risky, right? However, it is hovering around the major support zone here, around the $15, right? You have a major volume node to the left or to the right as well, acting as major support. We're making the first inverse head and shoulders potential pattern here with a higher low formation. So could this be an interesting pattern in the future where Oscar is starting to sort of coil out as well, something like this? Okay, so you might start seeing Oscar trying to coil and actually push out. And if it can, you're looking at 28 to 30 bucks here in the future for Oscar. So as long as this low can hold at $11.30, this prior weekly low, right, you're still looking for higher on Oscar. Could be an interesting play if you wanted a more growth name in your portfolio. All right, another name that I really like is Tesla. As you guys know, Tesla has been one of my largest holdings since 2023, and still holding here. Very nice coiling action. Sitting on the weekly, guys, sitting on the weekly moving averages. I mean, Tesla does not want to go down, even with all the FUD, even with the EV credit getting pulled out, feud with Elon and Trump. Nothing is holding it down. Continues to coil nicely on the daily. And the lagging names are starting to push higher, guys. So with Tesla, and if you take a look at Apple, Apple's been one of the lagging names as well. But with the same sort of fractal and same sort of setup, you see the coiling pattern after larger downtrend started to move sideways instead of moving down. And you got that breakout on Apple. So you guys know in Discord, Apple and Tesla are my largest holdings in my long-term portfolio. So look at the lagging names getting ready to sort of coil up and break out. Let's see how things can work out, but I do like these names moving forward. All right, another name that I like is Uber. Uber, you guys can see a three-wave move towards the moving averages on the daily. Found some nice support. You go down to possibly the lower time frames here. Take a look at the inverse head and shoulders pattern starting to form as well. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So this could actually turn into a nice, potential setup here in the future. Might take maybe a few days, few weeks, but look for a possible test of all-time highs on Uber here moving forward. For Verizon, you guys know Verizon has been a big winner as well for us and starting to look pretty interesting here, right? On the larger time frames, again, wedging out. Same thing with Coca-Cola. Very defensive name. Something to possibly add to your long-term portfolios if you want to sort of balance out the volatility that might come into play with seasonality. You're also seeing a potential inverse head and shoulders off the lows here on Verizon, looking pretty interesting. And a break higher would take us to 49 bucks. So look for Verizon. Great dividend-paying name. I think it's around 6% yield. So, I mean, it is a really good setup in my opinion. Okay, so that concludes the inverse head and shoulders pattern setups. Let's go to the bull flag. So one of my favorite patterns that I like to trade are continuation patterns. Let's take a look at Amazon, guys. So Amazon, nice reversal off the daily moving averages after the golden cross on the daily, right? So great sort of bullish signal. And then if you go down to the 1 hour time frames and sort of the smaller time frames, you're starting to see Amazon looking pretty interesting here off the lows, right? So you got a nice break of the lows and starting to coil, starting to look interesting. And these are the levels that I'm looking at for Amazon to at least test back to 229 to 235 in sort of the next few sessions here, right? If not, it can put in a double, like always, and go into 202 to 207. But either or, Amazon's a great setup, great buy. Look for, look to get in. Next one that I like is Applied Digital. So Applied Digital, guys, looking pretty interesting. You guys know we've been in from the lows in the Discord group, making a lot of money on Applied Digital. Possible flag, wait for the moving averages and the price to sort of have this inflection point. Okay, looking pretty nice. Weekly or sort of daily cup and handle pattern possible as well. Let's keep going. Alibaba. Wow, Alibaba just broke out. Okay, we've been mentioning about Alibaba, guys, over and over again on this channel, on Discord, right, every single day. Flag started to form, finally broke out in pre-market. And also, I mean, this could be a longer term play. You guys see as well the higher lows, right? Bull flag possible starting to form, and it sort of started to break out here. So keep a lookout for Baba. I think it's a very bullish name, something to also keep an add on to your portfolio if you want exposure away from the U.S. for a bit. Also, for the next one is Carnival Cruise. So for the cruise line industry, you guys know I'm bullish on anything leisure, on anything sort of entertainment. And Carnival Cruise, we've been mentioning this over and over again. Flagging out, moving averages on the daily starting to form, right? Expect that breakout very soon, guys. Expect that breakout. We had a golden cross back in June, right? Very bullish name, guys, on the not airlines, but on the cruise line industry. Okay, another name that might be interesting is Centerpoint Energy, guys. Centerpoint is a utilities name. Utilities are starting to look a little bit better. Look for that bull flag starting to form on the daily. 4 hours starting to come in as well, right? Centerpoint could be an interesting play alongside any utilities name. Look for this to extend higher. Another name that we've been mentioning is Dyno, HF Sinclair, right? Look at the daily. Very beautiful bull flag forming. And I think it's probably waiting for this moving average on the daily to sort of catch up to price. You'll get that inflection point before higher. So keep a lookout for HF Sinclair. You can position yourself slowly there. For RTX as well. Now, you guys know we've been bullish on RTX from the lows with the Discord group. Starting to flag out as well nicely here. 4 hours looking like one of the main time frames that's holding support. So starting to make some higher lows for the first time. You guys see that, right? You guys see the higher lows starting to form. So possible that this could be the low for now. Let's see. But overall, you shouldn't be bearish on RTX, and the defensive sector should continue moving higher. Shopify. All right, Shopify has been one of our major winners in the Discord group as well. Look at Shopify starting to flag out potentially. Right, moving averages on the 4 hour starting to come into play. Daily still a little bit far, right? But the 1 hour starting to look good. So on the shorter time frames, it has momentum for Shopify. So keep a lookout. It's one of my biggest winners, and I think it's going to keep extending higher. For a few subways, probably retrace and then higher, something like this in the future. Yeah, but we like Shopify. We love it. Great business. Okay. Next one is Synopsys. Synopsys is a pure semiconductor play, looking very nice. Got a bull golden cross back in July as well. Daily starting to push up. 4 hours showing some main support as well. So keep a lookout on the 4 hour. Looks pretty good to me for continuation higher. All right, S&P Global, great name overall. If you guys don't know S&P Global, they're a financial analytics company that provides so much data within the financial markets. Great company. Right, looking very strong, broke all-time highs, bull flagging. This should continue going higher as well. Look for the moving averages as main supports down here as well. But yeah, you shouldn't be bearish on S&P Global. Okay, next one is Talon Energy. We mentioned this yesterday and started to break out a little bit, right? But bull flag, another utilities name. Energy is going to kill it, guys. Keep going into energy. Keep going into sort of these utility companies. I think Talon will break out eventually as well. Nice. All right, the next one is Wayfair. So if you guys don't know, Wayfair has totally changed their business model in terms of using AI to help on their websites to sell more furniture, and it's working. So keep a lookout for Wayfair. Very nice 4 hour bull flag. Daily starting to show signs as well. Look at the daily. Golden cross back in July. Weekly, you guys can see, right? Still hovering underneath all-time lows. So imagine you're going to get a great company here if it can execute on the AI sort of narrative. Okay, so keep a lookout for Wayfair. I think it can keep going higher. And finally, again, utilities, guys. Look at the ETF for XLU. XLU for the utilities industry, looking very nice. All right, anything around these levels, bottom half of this channel makes sense for a position. I think utilities is primed for continuation higher after a nice consolidation over the last few weeks here. Okay, so that concludes the bull flags. Let's go over the pullback. So these are names that are pulling back that we like to take a look at. So the first one is AEP. AEP is a great company, American Electric Power Company. Again, a utilities name, right on the moving averages. Looks very strong. If you take as well from the last swing lows to the swing highs, right, starting to come down to very key levels at the 618 level, looking for 117 to 120. So keep a lookout for AEP, very nice company. Another name that we like is AMD, guys. We know AMD from the lows, right? For the Discord group, you can see that it is starting to make possible inverse head and shoulders pattern for continuation higher. It's starting to break out, guys, as well. Look at this. So looking nice for AMD, looking for higher. You can still be bullish. Again, you can put your stop losses underneath the recent 157. Of course, it can do a double, right? I wouldn't be surprised if it does do that, but still looks pretty good to me overall. Next one, Berkshire Hathaway. So Berkshire's been on a daily downtrend. Look at this daily downtrend. But if you zoom out to the weekly, on very nice key levels, guys. So something to definitely keep a lookout for Berkshire Hathaway. Nice sort of wedge formation starting to form, right? I think Berkshire is a great add to your company. Amazing company. It is a fantastic business holding company that will continue to shine. All right, another name that we like is Cheesecake Factory. So we've been mentioning about Cheesecake Factory after it started to wedge out like this, right? So we saw the wedge formation starting to form, starting to break out a little bit now and making the first higher low. So no confirmation yet, but cake looks pretty interesting here, starting to look pretty decent. Looking for 71 to 75 in the future here. You can also take a look at the measured move from the swing lows to the swing highs, back to the swing lows. We have the 1-to-1 measured move here. So main supports, buyers are trying to step in within these levels. Let's see if cake can continue pressing higher. Another pullback name is Chipotle, guys. Chipotle on the weekly moving average. This is historically a time to buy. Great name on an uptrend. Look at this. Every time it reaches the 200 moving averages on the weekly, what happens? It found a bottom. So, if you want a company that continues to grow, if you want a company that continues to, expand and have great business, look at this, guys. Look at the quarterly, look at the annually. You can't beat Chipotle right now, guys. You can't beat Chipotle. So keep a lookout for Chipotle. I think it's a great business. Let's keep going. Next one is Coin. So Coinbase on a daily, right? We mentioned in the Discord group to go in around the 180s. So all our Discord members are pretty good there. Retrace back to the moving averages here. So good name across the board. Sorry guys, I had a fire alarm go off. So with Coinbase, you guys can see we're on the daily moving average, starting to look pretty interesting here. And look at the 200 moving average. It's going to essentially act as support. We had a bull cross right here, the golden cross back in June as well. So any dip is considered a buy on this uptrend. So let's see if Coinbase can continue higher, especially with the momentum in crypto right now as well. Okay, another pullback that we like to keep a lookout for is FizServ. So FizServ, again, at the 200 moving average, typically this did signal a bottom in the past. You guys can see you have the potential bottom, right? Bottom here. So this is a very nice, interesting level for FizServ. If you wanted to buy an amazing sort of payment processing company in the background, you guys can also take a look as well. Let's take the swing lows to the swing highs, and also this one as well, this pivot. This might be better. We're right near the 618 level, guys. Right near the 618 level, we have all this sort of support on the left. Okay, so these are levels that you can do tranche buys in on FizServ if you wanted to get into a great company. Let's keep going. Another one that we think is very interesting is IBM. Look at IBM, guys. We've moved below the 200 moving average on the daily, but if you zoom out to the weekly, starting to find the main supports on the moving averages here. Okay, so it could be a pretty interesting dip buy for a first starter position, and then another position as long as sort of this 200 moving average on a weekly starts pushing up. You can have another starter position there. We also want to take a look at IBM from the swing lows just to get some sort of bearing straight. Yeah, I mean, take a look at here, guys. The 382 is at 216. So great sort of level to buy in on IBM at 216. Next one that we like is Rocket Lab. So Rocket Lab is pulling back a little bit, right? But starting to look pretty interesting and looking decent here. You guys can see flagging out, nice levels. So could be an interesting add on Rocket Lab. We already made about 100% on Rocket Lab in Discord. So we'll look to reload on some key levels here moving forward. The daily is still pretty far away, right? Can still catch up a bit, but you guys can see every time you reach the daily moving averages, right? It's a very nice buy overall. Okay. Let's keep going. All right, guys, sorry, I got interrupted again. My telephone rang, so let's go over the next name, which is Visa. So Visa is another very interesting one here. That could be an interesting play. You can take a look at the swing lows to the swing highs, right? For the Fibonacci retracement levels, we're right or very close to the 618 level. So very nice, interesting buy positions and starter positions here for Visa. And as long as this level can hold at 298 at the $300 level, we're looking for further upside on Visa, guys. Great name overall. Looking for 393 in the future, and then short term 346. Let's move on. So that concludes the pullback. That concludes the pullback names. Let's go over the next section, which are the earnings beats. So we like to take a look at companies that have beat their earnings and monitor them to see if it continues to grow EPS and if we want to go into them. So the first one is ASML. So we mentioned ASML for quite some time, guys. You can take a look on a daily time frame. ASML is starting to reclaim the 200 daily moving average here. So that's a really good sign. So you can actually look for ASML to continue uptrending and then pull back towards the moving averages and use that as confirmation buy to push forward, right? We did have this inverse head and shoulders pattern starting to play out. It did miss the 618 level retracement though, guys, right? You see, looks like the algos front ran that level, but ultimately still looking really good. Very strong company, and we're looking for $884 per share in the future. Another name that I like is American Express. American Express, take a look at the trend line support. You have the 200 moving average as support on the daily as well. So we broke a bullish sequence up towards the uptrend, pulled back right into main support here on the 200, and now it has a chance to continue its uptrend higher alongside this bullish uptrend, right? So we like American Express. So we're looking for American Express to ultimately try to reach all-time highs again, and even break above that closer to 354 in the future. Let's keep going. So for DHI, so as you guys know, for Discord, we've been in DHI for quite some time from the lows. And as you guys know, I'm bullish on home builders. We've been bullish on home builders in the Discord group because of the fact that we believe it was essentially at the lows. And, the story of the home builders struggling, I think the worst has ended. So you can see every time on a weekly 200 moving average price reach down there is signal to buy. And we took that, and we're up massively now. Let's see if DHI can continue heading higher. Another name that's interesting to me is Duolingo. So Duolingo, really big pullback, had a great earnings beats, and then retraced all of that. And now we're trying to see where it can sort of land. If you take a look from the swing lows to the swing highs, the next main support's down here, guys, at 229 to 164. We do have a first little pivot. Not as strong, right? We do have sort of like these levels here, but it's not the most, I would say, the biggest support. The biggest support would be a retest down here at 229. So keep a lookout for Duolingo. I think it's a great name. Let's see if it can keep pushing higher here in the future. Google. You guys know I've been in Google for quite some time since my employment days. And we're going to keep going on Google, guys. You should always have Google in your portfolio. Any dip is considered a buy, right? Google is going to be huge and is always going to be huge, and it's not going anywhere. So keep a lookout. We're looking for 222 to 248 on the bullish break across all-time highs. For JP Morgan starting to look a little bit better here, right? We are sort of flagging out just a little bit, finding some good support. Can sort of make a ascending triangle, or this can turn into a flag. We just don't know yet. But ultimately, JP Morgan, great name. It's going to keep going higher, in my opinion. Cloudflare. So Cloudflare's nice, pulling back nicely for the last couple of days here, right? We like it a little bit lower, to be honest. I do like this pivot actually down here, closer to 184, right, on the moving averages. So again, bullish uptrend, pulling back to the moving averages. That's sort of a great starter positions every single time, guys. So we like that a little bit lower. For Netflix, you guys know for Discord, we've been calling for Netflix here at the lows, starting to break out now, and looking for all-time highs as well on Netflix. Take a look for swing lows to the swing highs, inverse fibs, looking for $1,390 per share on Netflix. So if you're long, stay long. PepsiCo is starting to look pretty good, guys. Starting to break above the daily moving averages. And if this can continue sort of consolidating, guys, you're going to start seeing a golden cross signaling on PepsiCo. So you can sort of wait for this uptrend, pull back, and then buy in if you want to be a little bit more conservative. But ultimately looking good. Same thing with Coca-Cola on a defensive play. For PayPal, looking a little bit weak still. We are a little bit away from the 618, just a tad few percentage points away, but it is starting to make higher lows for the first time. So I wouldn't be surprised if the low is in and it's going to try to test 85 or puts in a double correction to retest the $60 mark again. Okay, so we just have to wait and see. But PayPal, an interesting name as well. For Reddit, okay, you guys know Reddit has been my darling. We've been mentioning to buy Reddit here at 140s for Discord, the lows down here at $80 for Discord, and you can see Reddit has been absolutely killing it, and we're going to keep calling it higher here to 265 to 323. So guys, all these names, everything is in Discord, so come join Discord. You're going to absolutely kill it with us, I'm telling you. Here we go. Another one, Rocket Companies. We've been in the lows, guys. We've been in the lows since the bullish cross, right? Anything home builders, anything related to real estate, you got to buy. Okay, we're going to keep calling it higher on Rocket Companies. It's going to keep going higher, guys. I'm telling you. Come join Discord. You're going to get all this amazing info. For TMDX, again, we mentioned to buy right here in Discord at 70. We also mentioned to buy right here in Discord at 100. Continues to show how amazing our system is, right? You're going to make a lot of money, guys. Just keep following our signals. Keep following what we're doing. For TSM, I'm avoiding TSM for now, right? But it did sort of flag out for just a few. Very bullish name. Didn't reach the moving averages here, so just patiently waiting. Patiently waiting on TSM. All right, so that's it, guys. Those conclude all the names that I'm looking at that you guys should be buying today. In Discord, you're going to make a lot of money. You get the swing trade ideas. You get the day trade ideas, long-term, 100x baggers accounts, charts for days, guys. Every single thing that you need to make a lot of money. So I look forward to seeing you here. And, yeah, have a great rest of your Wednesday.